Hi, Liz Child here for Green Earth Organics. Today I thought I'd take you through a really quick and simple but absolutely delicious Sunday roast. In this pot here I've got some potatoes and carrots that I'm parboiling, and while the potatoes and carrots are parboiling I'm going to make a really quick, bright, colourful beetroot and butter bean loaf. I am going to toast a mug of sunflower seeds in a dry pan. Then using the same mug, I'm going to measure a mug of oats into this blender. And then I've got 2 beetroots that I've just peeled, and I'm going to grate them on the fine side of the grater, not the big side. Drain the aquafaba from a tin of butter beans into this little jar, and I'll use that to make a clafouti maybe for pudding after the roast. The clafouti recipe is in the blog as well. You can just search for it in the sweet category. I'm going to add the butter beans to the beetroot, and then I'm going to season the beetroot and butter beans really well with some salt, so a couple of good pinches, and some black pepper. And if you want, you can add some herbs or some lemon zest. You can flavour it however you like. Okay, the sunflower seeds are beautifully toasted now, and you can really smell how delicious they are. So I'm going to add them to the food processor that the porridge oats are in, and I'm going to put in a couple of tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons of milled linseeds, and then I'm going to pulse this mixture into a sort of rough flour, and I'm going to add it straight into the beetroot and butter beans, and then just get in there with your hands, the easiest way. And just squish the mixture all together, and keep that bag of oats handy because you want to add some more oats to make it the right kind of consistency. So I'm just going to keep adding some oats a bit at a time, mixing it in until we get a nice kind of stuffing texture. Okay, so this is about the right kind of consistency where it looks a little bit like minced meat. So you want to taste it for seasoning. Press it into the lined loaf or baking dish. Finely slice some mushrooms, and then you can arrange them on top. Then I'm just going to drizzle it with some olive oil and sprinkle it with a little salt and some pepper. I've preheated the oven to 200 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to pop that straight into roast. Okay, onto the potatoes and carrots. They are nearly ready to go in the oven. They're parboiling away. Okay, so in this bowl I've got some fresh dill and some thyme. So I'm just going to finely chop the dill. Okay, and just break in some of these delicious thyme leaves. Peel the garlic and just finely grate that straight in with the herbs, and the zest of a lemon as well. Then I'm going to season it with some pepper and a big pinch of salt, and then you can add whatever oil you like. So I'm going to go for some sunflower oil today. Alright, and we'll give this a good mix with a spoon. And I've got my largest oven tray heating up in the oven, so I'll just take that out now and add a little sunflower oil to the bottom of it. And then using a salted spoon, because I want to save the water that the potatoes and carrots have been cooking in to make a gravy later, I'm just going to take out the potatoes, drain them as much as I can as I go, and add them to the hot tray. And then I'm just going to spoon over all this lovely lemony, herby, garlicky mixture. And give everything a really good mix. Don't be shy to bash out the potatoes a bit. All of those bits of potato that are kind of mashed and bashed on the sides will go really crispy in the oven. And then cut the lemon in half. I'm going to pop that in the tray as well. The lemons will roast as well and become really sweet and soft, and then I can squeeze them over whatever needs a bit of lemony zing. While everything's in the oven, I'm reheating that water that the potatoes and carrots were cooked in with a stock cube. And I'm just going to roughly shred this lovely pointed spring green cabbage and kind of poach it in that stocky water. Okay, so the greens have wilted down in the stock and they're not quite done yet, which is perfect. So I'm just going to take them out into this pan that I toasted the sunflower seeds in earlier, and then when I'm ready I'll warm them up in the pan with a bit of butter or some olive oil or something. In this pot here is the water that I used to cook the potatoes, the carrots and the greens, and it's had a stock cube in it. So it's already a really tasty kind of broth, and I'm just heating it up, and what I want to do is kind of steal flavour from wherever I can. So this bowl that had the garlic and lemon and herbs for the potatoes and carrots, I'm just going to dunk that in, get that flavour in there, don't waste a single drop of it. And then I'm going to put in some dried mushrooms, about a teaspoon going in there. And then to thicken it up into a nice thick pourable gravy, I've got a little bit of corn flour and water in a cup here, so cold water and about 2 or 3 tablespoons of corn flour, and then mix it up into a really smooth paste before you pour it in, otherwise it can go lumpy. So I've just poured that straight in, and I'm just going to keep it moving, and the gravy should thicken up as it infuses with the mushrooms. I'm also going to add these kind of last little end twigs of thyme into there. I want a nice, quite light, herbaceous gravy. Once your gravy is nice and thick and glossy, the right consistency that you like, give it a taste and see if it needs anything. So you might want to make it a little bit richer with a splash of soy sauce or a tablespoon of miso, and add a little bit of salt or pepper. You might want to add a little bit of acidity or some sweetness, maybe a spoon of red currant jelly or a splash of port or red or white wine. I'm just going to add a little bit of this shoyu just to make it a little saltier and richer. Okay, so the beetroot and butterbean loaf is done. It's hot all the way through and nice and golden brown on top. So I'm going to carefully take it out onto this wooden chopping board. The lemony, herby potatoes and carrots are done as well, and they look amazing. So as you can see, they're all crispy and golden on the outside and soft and fluffy in the middle. And those roasted lemons are so delicious and soft. I'm just going to give them a little squeeze over the hot potatoes and carrots. And the greens have been heated through. I'll just add them to the platter. The beetroot loaf can be cut into 6 or more lovely wedges and served on a plate with the gravy, the greens and the roast potatoes. And there we have a really simple, really quick, easy, nutritious, delicious Sunday roast. I hope you give it a try. Let me know what you think. Enjoy!